Hey, 24 schedule dropped. Interesting to see the new venues. Philly had a race back in the 80s at some point. Alabama's brand new. Can you take us through going to Philadelphia, back to Philadelphia, and going to Alabama and the decisions that came into it and all that?
Yeah, I mean, Philly is a market we've wanted to get into. I mean, I don't think it's any secret we want to go to new markets. It's part of expanding the sport and get new eyeballs on it. And Philly made sense. We have a great relationship with them through Monster Jam. So last summer we took a ride up there, looked at it. It's a cool facility. It's beautiful. And it made sense in that Northeast market where we are sometimes a little bit limited in where we can go.
Mm-hmm. And Alabama?
And then Alabama is it's actually a new stadium. I want to say it was finished in 21.
Okay.
It's very similar to Snapdragon. It's predominantly an MLS stadium, and they have indoor pits. It makes sense. Again, back to that new market thing. Mm-hmm. It's a place we haven't played. And bringing Supercross there, we think is going to be successful, especially with the success that we've seen in that area in the past.
Right. Okay.
Mike, San Fran's back. That's a sweet spot for me because it's NorCal. Maybe we're way in front of this, but logistically, what would that one look like, just pit wise? And do you guys have a plan? I mean, you obviously do. What's it going to look like in San Fran?
Yeah, we're meeting with them bi-weekly right now. It's going to be a logistical challenge. As you remember, the bridge, there's the drawbridge. We'll be utilizing that. Where we used to have the pits there is actually a set of high-rises. So
it's gone.
Office buildings, condos, yeah. But they own the wharfs. I think it's Wharf 48, and it's an enclosed dock space. So all the race teams will be in there, and then our sponsor, FanFest sponsor village area, will be just outside of there on the streets and some parking spaces. So It'll be a unique layout. If you guys remember Chase Field, I would liken it to that when we were at Chase Field.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, which I thought that was great. It was really packed, but I thought that was great. Yeah, the Chase Field pits and all that. Thank you for going back to San Francisco. Thank you for just making that happen.
Is that just so we get away from Oakland?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
But that's probably the problem, right, Mike? Is that market's good. The Northern California market is a good moto market, so you've got to be in there somehow, which is probably why Oakland kept it around, because people fill up in that place, man. They like it.
And it really is. I think we kind of touched on this a little bit on the last time I was on, probably a year ago. Trying to move around in that area, and San Francisco. Again, it's logistically challenging to be downtown San Francisco. There was a lot of benefits operationally to Oakland, but, in talking with the teams and lots of others, it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a couple questions. You mentioned indoor pits at Alabama. Is this indoor pits that fans can come into, or is this like Minneapolis where there's really no fans?
Yeah, no, like St. Louis. It'll be very similar to St. Louis with indoor pits. It's an exhibition hall right next door.
Okay.
Nice. Okay. And then, obviously, Nashville was a huge favorite amongst the fans, the media, the teams.
The wives. and
I know there's reasons as of now SLC, Salt Lake City, is the finals. Could you ever see Nashville be in the finals because it's such a favorite?
Yeah, I mean, we love going to Salt Lake City, but I do see other opportunities for the finals in the future. That could be Nashville. It could be a lot of different places. Mm-hmm. We like Nashville, obviously, back-to-back years.
Yeah.
It's an experiment, and hopefully it pays off. But we'll see in a little while here where we go with that.
People tell me, Mike, that Vegas is back on for the new stadium. The little bit of change of maybe presidents or building operators, or I don't even know. But people tell me Vegas is more open for Soupy.
That is news to me.
Okay.
I don't. That's actually the first I've heard that.
Okay.
But,
moving on.
We continuously have conversation and a great relationship with them.
Yeah.
It's just not in the cards right now.
I could see the Speedway. Maybe we can do some of the Speedway.
Yeah.
For Vegas. I don't know. I'd like to see. I mean, I think everybody would like to see Vegas being back on the schedule and somehow. And maybe it's just me because it's 20 minutes.
most people I talk to,
Yep.
well, maybe it's a lot of me. I'm always pushing for Nashville because I loved it so much.
Yeah.
But most people do say, hey, we want the finals back in Vegas one way or another. So
Yeah.
I think no matter where they could hold a race in the lot behind your house,
Yep.
as long as the finals are here, they'd be happy.
Yeah. Right, right. Yeah.
They just want to be in Vegas.
And honestly, like they could run right through your downstairs with the ceilings and be fine.
Great.
It's like peristyles.
Hey, Mike, no Atlanta. I thought the Speedway was great out of Atlanta. Obviously, there was a lot of logistical stuff with going to the Mercedes-Benz Dome and all that. But I think it's the first time since, 93 or something, Atlanta not on the schedule, which is a big market. And we used to have two of them sometimes. Talk about that a little bit, leaving Atlanta, and if it'll be back or what the thought and the thinking behind that.
Yeah, I think you're right. It was like 92, 93. But Atlanta's a great market. Sometimes you've got to give to get a little bit. We wanted to try Birmingham, see what happens there. And, not to say we won't go back to the stadium or the Speedway again. The Speedway is probably more now in the wheelhouse of a super motocross style facility. But not to say that we wouldn't ever produce another supercross there either.
Sure, yeah.
It's really just experimental. Let's see how Birmingham does and kind of take it 1 year at a time.
Week off early on, so I heard some complaints this weekend, of course. Some of the drivers, Muye. By the way, the truck drivers run the industry. You just got to ask them. But
Absolutely.
the truck drivers know everything. They're bitching. They're yeah. But the truck driver union this weekend very upset about the Glendale, Detroit, and back or whatever it is. But there's a week off after the haul, so you're making it as easy as you can.
Yeah, and believe me, there's nobody that wants to go back and forth cross country less than us. We have 22 trailers we're moving back and forth, so it's not easy.
Yeah.
But it made sense. We had an opportunity for network television that we had to flip Glendale and Detroit. And, it's for the greater good. And that's really what that decision came down to is trying to get more eyeballs on the sport. And even though it's a bit of a pain point for us and everybody, it's overall better.
And we've talked about this. There's no schedule that, is going to make everybody happy. And when people talk about that drive, you just touched on it, Muye. You guys also have that drive with your trailers. You know what I mean?
They get out of it.
Yeah, it's not like you're sitting back and throwing $100 bills in your fireplace like Scrooge McDuck and laughing at the team. I mean, you guys are doing it too. So it can never be perfect for everybody.
Yeah, no, and not to get too far into the weeds, but we spend painstaking hours trying to work with our routing and tours department and work with the venues to try and get the best possible routing that we can, because it does make a difference.
Yeah.
It just doesn't always work out that way.
Sure. Also, Mike, new contract with NBC, MX Sports, Feld, all in one package, SMX, all of that. What's been, and I know this isn't exactly your territory, you're the operations guy, but I'm sure you're in meetings and I'm sure you hear from things. What's been the response from NBC on the streaming platform and the viewing ship numbers and everything else for us being back on there?
Awesome. We've gotten great